Hey guys, this is Sports with Dylan. Now by now you've all probably heard about the A.J. Brown trade. Now that's probably because you've all watched my video on the A.J. Brown trade, which I'll leave a link to in the description. But if you haven't, go check it out. Anyways, this trade got a lot less attention due to A.J. Brown, a top 10 receiver, being traded. But it's still a very interesting trade to analyze. So that's what I'll be doing today. And if you haven't heard about it yet, Marquise Brown was traded to the Arizona Cardinals. Now, I'm going to start from the Ravens' perspective of things. What doesn't make sense to me is, obviously we've all heard all these 2019 receivers all wanting trades or all wanting massive mega extensions. And yet Marquise Brown, I hadn't heard a thing about. Like, just unknown. I didn't know there's any trade market for him whatsoever. I didn't think he's on the block. Like, there's no reports about it. So it surprised me quite a bit when Marquise Brown was traded. Now, this is a really interesting trade, because Lamar Jackson really wants a contract extension, and he's negotiating himself without an agent, which I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I really don't know there. I'm not the expert you should be asking if you're wondering. But it's interesting him being his own agent. That's not something that usually ever happens, so we'll see how that runs. It hasn't obviously gone forward yet, but we'll see. At this rate, though, they just took a step back, given that they just traded away his number one receiver, number two target, after Mark Andrews. The issue now is that the Ravens don't have one proven receiver on the roster. Just look at it. I mean, Rashad Bateman, a 2020 first-round rookie, has been injured a bit and hasn't had time to prove himself. But besides that, they don't even have one good receiver on their roster. Mark Andrews will have to take the burden of everything here, because aside from him, they don't have anyone at all. So it's really interesting to see the Ravens just go out and trade Marquise Brown like that. Now, on the other hand, the Cardinals get Marquise Brown, which I don't think was their biggest need either, because they really need to work on defense. Rondale Moore hasn't proven himself yet, and AJ Green's aging, but you've got DeAndre Hopkins, and then Zach Ertz and Max Williams, so you've got a solid receiving core there. Marquise Brown's a great addition, but I don't think he's absolutely necessary here. Now, he is Murray's former teammate from college, which is quite interesting, because Murray, like Jackson, is trying to negotiate a contract extension. At least Murray as an agent, though. But the fact that they're willing to give up a first-rounder to try and please Kyler Murray means that this is the right roster for him, the right team, because lots of teams don't do that, but I think the Cardinals realize they need to keep Murray. They can't let him go, and they need to please him if they want to sign an extension, and getting another receiver for him is a great way. The issue, though, is now they've screwed themselves over on the defensive side, where they really needed it, because there are plenty of good players available when they would have been picking, including Jermaine Johnson, who is still available. So they could have easily gotten a really good player on that defense. A good defensive back, or a good defensive lineman, or linebacker. So I think they're trying to please Murray too hard, but you can't give up too much to keep your superstar quarterback, is also my opinion. So, all in all, I don't love this trade, but the Cardinals know they have to keep Murray. And if this is what it does for him to stay, then you've got it. The Ravens, on the other hand, have screwed themselves over making Lamar Jackson likely more frustrated. And Lamar Jackson only has 1 year left on his contract. Now, of course, unlike Murray, Jackson hasn't publicly gone out and talked about wanting a trade or needing a new contract extension. It's obvious that he wants one. But Murray's actually gone out and taken steps forward to wanting a trade. So, on that hand, yes, the Cardinals need that. But you'd think the Ravens would still want to try and please Jackson. Anyways, that's all for now. Thanks for watching.